Hi, my name is Smith-Jenkins. I am a self-professed health and wellness enthusiast, and I've gone through the trial and error of trying to maintain healthy habits while working on a cruise ship, and I'm here to share my secrets. I have done 5 cruise ship contracts, and I'm about to start my 6th this March. I always get so excited to return to the cruise ship. I know it's going to be a time where I can adopt a consistent routine and sprinkle some healthy habits into my day. There are 7 dimensions of wellness: physical, emotional, intellectual, social, spiritual, environmental, and occupational. For the sake of this video, I'm going to discuss the first 6 and offer tips on how you can maintain your health in these areas while working within the limitations of being a crew member on a cruise ship. So starting off with the most obvious form of wellness, physical. This one can be the easiest to maintain or the hardest to maintain while on board. We all know that the cruise ship has a gym, but if you don't have a plan, you're just wasting your time. And without a plan, you are much less likely to go. Personally, I've had the most success when I have followed a workout routine via an app. My favorite one right now is Align by Bailey Brown, which is a Pilates app, but I've also used Active and the Sweat app. As a crew member, I have loved Active and Align because I can go out in port and download the workouts while on port Wi-Fi, and then I don't have to worry about paying for the crew internet and trying to stream it while on board. Emotional wellness. This one I've probably had the most experience with firsthand on board. Many years ago, I made mistakes that left me in a lot of emotional distress. I found it difficult to eat on a regular basis, but honestly, worse than that, I found it really hard to sleep. Alex Hormozy has a wonderful video on sleep, and in it he says, a sleep-deprived brain gives us the emotional stability of a drunk person. If you can find ways to improve your quality of sleep while on board, you're already off to a great start. Some of my favorite sleep tips include making sure that the room is cold and dark, no alcohol after 8 p.m., take salt or electrolytes before bed so that you don't wake up in the middle of the night having to use the bathroom, and trying to avoid your screens at least 2 hours before you try and go to sleep. This one's a little bit hard for me because I like reading before bed on my iPad, and so I bought these really nice blue light blocking glasses, and that really helps. Additionally, I would advise adopting relaxation techniques. For me, this looks like doing my skincare, slipping into my pajamas, lowering the lights, and then reading until I fall asleep. But for you, it could look like doing some meditation with ohms or humming to calm your vagus nerve, writing positive affirmations in your journal, calling a loved one back home, or stepping outside to see the waves and getting a breath of fresh air. What you definitely don't want to do is wallow in your distress. There can sometimes be a fine line between self-care and self-indulgence. Intellectual wellness. This one's pretty fun and easy to adopt while on board. There are so many different ways in which you can strengthen your mind while working on a cruise ship. On one of my first contracts, my husband actually took some time to learn French, and then he booked a trip to Paris and was able to talk to all the locals. I love visiting museums and historic sites and just learning about the culture of all the different places that I'm getting to go to. And most ships also have libraries for crew members where you can check out books and movies. This is a side note, but a great example of how you can just meet the most interesting people while working on a cruise ship. On my last contract, a member of our cast just so happened to be a Titanic historian and lecturer. And one day when we reported in Southampton, me and him and then another friend from our cast all went to the Titanic Museum in Southampton, and he showed us all these different historical sites within the town. And now I just know a lot more about the Titanic. So fun. Social wellness. You are going to meet a plethora of enchanting and diverse people while working on the ship. If you're an extrovert, this should obviously come easily to you. However, if you're an introvert, don't be discouraged. There are plenty of ways to socialize and build a community of people while on board. On the ships I've worked on, there's always a calendar of crew enrichment activities. And of course there are crew parties, but if you're like me and you don't always like to drink, another great way to meet people is to take advantage of crew excursions, or sit with someone you don't know in the crew mess and strike up a conversation. Otherwise, you will become really close with the people in your department, and you're likely to make lifelong friends. There are people that I worked with like years ago that I still stay in very close contact with to this day. Spiritual wellness. Spiritual wellness means having personal values and beliefs and acting in accordance with those values. Sometimes working on the ship can feel like a complete alternate reality, and it can sometimes be really easy to neglect this pillar of wellness. But maintaining your spiritual wellness is incredibly important, even if you don't believe in a higher power. If you do, I don't need to tell you the ways in which you maintain your religious practice, few of which you will find limiting due to being on a cruise ship. But if you aren't a person of faith, this could look like spending time in nature, keeping a gratitude journal, or doing breath work or yoga. And last, Environmental. You know what they say. Happy, happy, washy, washy.
What?
You know what they say. Washy, washy, happy, happy.
I think it's washy washy happy happy.
Washy, washy, happy, happy. Environmental wellness on a cruise ship can mean like keeping your space clean,
For the love of God, dust your cabin.
making sure the quality of your air is good. If you're a vocalist like me, I would advise investing in an air purifier. There's a bunch of different ones on Amazon. I'll link the one that we have. This also includes having clean drinking water. The water on certain cruise ships can be super duper clean depending on like the filtration process that they have, but some cruise ships might be a little bit different. Talk to your environmental officer, but if you are sensitive to that kind of thing, there are tons of different water bottles with filters, and you can always get discounted water from the Crew Mess or Crew Mart. And if you're really crazy, you can get one of these travel Berkey filters. I've linked them in the description box if you're like really big into that kind of thing. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. If you haven't yet, please go check out my video on the 5 things I wish I knew before starting my first cruise ship contract. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye!